Alright, this is my WPL D42 van. Well, most of it. Well, some of it. In fact, it's separated from the chassis. So, here's the chassis of my WPL D42 van. Interesting notes are coming ahead, so stay tuned. So I bought this van at Christmas with the hope of racing my brother, who also has a van, and I drive a van as part of my daily commute. But unfortunately, I had a problem with the rear axle, doesn't get any drive. So I contacted them, and although communication is still going and there's a break for Chinese New Year, the issue I have is that if you buy one of these like I did through AliExpress, there is zero warranty. They do not want to know about warranty. If I'd bought it from my local hobby shop, which is about 400 kilometers drive away, then they're happy to deal with you. But again, it's go into the shop and swap it over. So I have bought, hopefully, the part that should fix it, and I want to try and fit that now. Okay, I've just rigged the battery and some batteries in the transmitter, and here we go, full speed. That's as good as it'll do. If I flip it over, it will move, but if I put the slightest amount of pressure on the tyre, nothing. So there's an issue down here in this rear axle area. Interestingly enough, in exploring this, I did notice some things that I did contact. I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. I contacted WPL about. They did say they are quality control issues, but again, because I bought this on AliExpress, nothing they can do. So I'll disconnect all this stuff. I'm going to turn off the transmitter and hopefully get into installing my new part. So it looks like, to get this rear axle out, there is a screw up here on the universal joint. In fact, I'm going to have to get the one that is downstream down here on this universal joint, which is, let me flip it around, I'm sure I'll find it. And then these two screws here, and then obviously I have to swap over the wheels, but let's just test that this thing works first. So I will undo those screws and come right back. So it is just a matter of undoing those screws. There's no screw to undo on the universal joint, it will just slip out, and then just unhook these little leaf springs. So let's see if I can actually get it back on as easy as I got it off. So the first thing is to hook the leaf springs over, flip that down there, lovely. Then with that on, I will rotate this until that goes in, and then hopefully I can line all this up. And get this on. Back in a mo. Alright, key difference noted. The shaft on this universal joint is far shorter than the shaft on that one, so I will need to swap this over. Okay, swapped over, fairly hassle-free. I will be very interested to see if this does fix the problem. So what I'm going to try to do is sort of make sure that's off. I'm going to rig up the battery, which is here. Make sure you get the battery around the right way. There. Flip this over. Flip that on. Transmitter. Make sure that's on. Okay, let's see how we go. Now if I hold there, seems to have cured it. So that would suggest possibly a ring gear was gone in there. But now to get these wheels off and try and get the van back together. Wish me luck. Okay, the wheels are back on. Let's flick it on again and double check. Yep, we are golden. Bit of play on there, so I'll have to tighten those up a bit more. It almost looks like maybe that axle is actually a bit longer. Maybe they've sent me a different axle now. Wouldn't that be ironic? Because no warranty, whatever you buy, unless it's from their website, which I didn't even know they sold things through their website, there is zero warranty. They do not want you to report that there is a problem. They don't want you to demonstrate there's a problem. I've got some things to talk about with this, but well, look, I should probably mention it before I put the whole thing back together. So I'll turn this off, and then I'll show you. Now, I should point out, I bought this from AliExpress as a Christmas gift. I bought two at the same time, and they are called drift vans. So, you know, make of that title what you want. But what I wanted to point out about this drift van, which broke after about 10 minutes of driving around, you know, going lock to lock at full throttle, you know, didn't even last the first charge of this battery, is this gearbox housing. Because originally I wondered whether the problem was in the gearbox, so I went to investigate this housing, and I noticed that this lower housing has been cut because it actually didn't clear, I suspect, this little bushing. And the reason I suspect that is when I look at it from the other side, or look at it from that side, can you see it? No, you can't. Well, you can see it that way. You can actually see the two halves aren't together, and that is because these screws aren't long enough. Those screws don't actually pass through into the other side. I can actually pick this off. Let me just flip hands here. There it goes. That comes off, and then you can actually see that that little housing, it's really hard to focus, that little housing doesn't actually clear that bushing. It's actually too small for that bushing to sit in. So that little housing is pointing down, and then these little stubs, these little screws that are poking out, are actually too short to index in. I've just dropped that. I'll have to get it off the floor. So when I pointed that out to them, they said, oh yeah, that's definitely a quality control and manufacturing problem. What a shame you didn't buy it from us. Which, I mean, look, we have a word to describe that where I'm from, and I'm sure you probably do too. You probably heard the word. You know, there's probably quite a few versions of that word, that kind of behaviour, which is pretty poor. You know, I could supply them with proof of purchase, I could supply them with date of purchase. AliExpress have 15-day returns, and there's actually zero method after 15 days to contact someone and say, hey, there's a problem with the thing I bought. There is just that contact is eliminated completely. So it's a real shame. I will try and stick this back together as best I can, but really I don't think it's going to matter too much. I mean, it's going to be on the underside of the van, but in the interest of trying to keep it all together, I'm going to do the right thing. So I'll come back in a minute. So I've just picked this up off the floor. I can only really sit this on there because it can't go back on. It just won't go in there. The other thing that was interesting is when you remove the wiring for the lights off of this little header, the whole socket comes off with the plug. And again, I've been told by I don't want to confuse them because there are two brands very similar. Being told by WPL, that's a quality control issue, but it still works. So it seems like, I don't know, I've been looking at their website and there are other things that I wanted to buy, but honestly can't see myself buying any more from them because, yeah, not necessarily because, oh well, I didn't have a good experience, you won't have a good experience, but you just think, well, what'd be the point? Where would I gain anything from buying from them again? So I don't think I will. I also made the mistake of saying, you know, if I'd bought a Tamiya kit, this was what really lit the fire. I said if I'd bought a Tamiya kit, I don't think it would matter where I bought it, it would be supported. And that was, well, don't compare us to Tamiya. We aren't Tamiya. We're not a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And I was saying more along the lines of, but if I'd bought it from Tamiya, my consumer rights would be respected. You know, people would be thinking, well, this would be damaging to our name. So a bit sad. And these parts aren't expensive. This was $13. Okay, I had to change the shaft, but $13 isn't much. And they even have some kind of, there's an upgraded drive system that you can get that is apparently just a sort of complete changeover unit. I mean, how hard would it have been to say, look, we'll send you a gearbox cover that fits, and we'll send you an axle because your ring gears failed? But no, they didn't like doing that. So I've got the videos that I sent to them. I don't know, do you think I should be putting those out there, or do you think maybe that's in poor form? You tell me. I will go by majority rule. Alright? They go in here. They go in this one here. So I was talking, quite amicably to a guy named, I presume it's Liam, but, pronunciation could be a rider. It could be, the arm or something like that. And he seems quite pleasant, but very matter of fact, you didn't buy it through us, you have no rights. Which is a sad, sad thing. Alright, there we go. That's all back together. I'll put the top back on it, I'll put some batteries back in it and see how we go. Okay, we're back. We've got some lights on here. The lights are working, so I obviously plugged that back in right. Let's see. Yep, put some pressure on it. Nope, still wants to go. So it has obviously fixed it, so that's good to know. But let this be a cautionary tale to anyone else that's looking at these. If you're going to buy one, buy it from their website directly, or buy it from your walk-in bricks and mortar shop. Do not buy it on eBay, AliExpress, Banggood, or anywhere else where it is advertised for sale. You will get zero support. If you want me to release the videos that I made, they're made and they're sitting in my unlisted videos section. So if you think that I should release those videos and let other people know what's going on, then comment below. Otherwise, thanks for your time, and I'll see you on the next one, hopefully with some happier news. Bye.